For Independent TTRPG Month, we're taking a look at Old School Essentials, Classic Fantasy. It's the Rules Tome from Necrotic Gnome.
Hey there, it's DM Zoth. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you know when we upload new videos. Alright, here it is, the Old School Essentials Rules Tome, Classic Fantasy.
Yes, this is a long time coming.
Hell yeah, it is.
And let's just jump right into this. This is an A5 size book. For comparison, here is the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition book, which is the same as your 5th edition book. It's small, kind of digest size.
First off, I just want to say I fucking love the art.
All right, let's take a look at the book itself. It is stitch bound. It has 2 ribbons. Mine actually is fraying here at the end, this blue one. I should probably stitch that, but
that just seems like you've gotten a lot of use out of it.
Well, I've gotten some use out of it. Opening up to the inside cover, you can see that not 1 ounce of room was lost.
Yeah, they put ink everywhere, didn't they?
Yep, so the inside covers have quick references for you, adventuring, encumbrance, dungeons, wilderness, things that you need quick and on the fly. Also on the back,
it says 100% old school rules, 100% modern design.
Also, it says on their website that, and I think it's probably even in this book, that it's basically compatible with any basic or expert modules that are out there. So the adaptability of this book is, how should you say?
It's fucking amazing.
That's right. The table of contents, you can see what's in here.
There's an introduction, a thing on player characters, the character classes, advancement.
Yep, equipment, vehicles and mounts, magic, cleric spells, magic user spells.
Adventuring, hired help, strongholds, monsters, encounter tables, NPC encounters, running adventures,
treasures, magic items, sentient swords, author's notes, which is great, and indexes.
And then the piece of shit open game license. Fuck Wizards of the Coast, by the way.
That's right. So if you're looking for that real classic fantasy feel, that old school D&D, but cleaned up, this is the book that you want to get. There are others that are out there that are excellent. Basic Fantasy, 5 Torches Deep, all of these books, even Murkborg is within that vein. But this, you're going to be able to pick up an old module from D&D, from the original basic or expert, and you will be able to play it.
So it crosses over nice and easy, doesn't it?
That's right, it totally does. So what I really like about this is that it is clean. And Gavin Norman, who is the author of this book, he spent, I think, more time trying to figure out what words to keep out than he did what to put in.
What do you mean?
Well, everything is so concise and clear, which is actually the complete opposite of those games that were written like Advanced Dungeons & Dragons in 1977 and even the Moldvay in 1983, though that was cleaned up quite a bit.
So it's clear and to the point.
That's right. So every page here actually has information that is useful. And there's not a lot of fluff with the words. It just gets right to the point. So it talks about here what classic fantasy gaming is, the terminology, things that you would see in a lot of regular books, what is actually in this book, and here's an ode to the original 1st edition AD&D cover.
The Demon Idol, metal as fuck.
Yes, it is. This is actually, this rules tome, and I'll put up a picture on the screen here, but one of the original ways that they created this was a box set, and there was individual books, and here's one of them that has the druid and illusion spells, and they would break down these small little books so that they were their own little tomes. And this is actually for advanced fantasy, but they had this for the basic classic fantasy as well, which is a great presentation, and this just compiles all of that into one large tome.
Or larger compared to the other smaller books.
That's right. The art is wonderful. I've heard people say, and I saw this comment on one of my videos when I was showing Shadow Dark, and the commenter said something to the effect of, "It takes more than shitty art to make a game old school or classic." To those people, and you might be watching, it could be you that is of your ilk too, I would say I would prefer this sort of old school sort of art, the art that you saw in the original books from D&D, to be more evocative than what you're going to find in 5th edition.
I think out of all the editions, my favorite is 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons in regards to art.
Yeah, because it had those splash pages that were of Elmore and Parkinson and all the greats of the past. Those things are just awesome. Player characters, how to create them, what basically everything means, from armor class, savings throws, movement rates, etc. And how to create a character. It lays it out nice and easy. You just follow these 13 steps and you have yourself a character.
Didn't you sit down and roll up a bunch of characters in like a half hour once?
I created, and these are all old school essentials, I created Gory Hammer Smash Face, which is a dwarf, Azeroth, a magic user, Tor Aleheart, a fighter. I created Ayla Vanala, an elf, Pim Greenbottle, a halfling, Barl E, a cleric, Klepto Kendra, and somebody actually used this and changed the name, but a thief. I created all of these characters in probably 45 minutes total, which is the average time that it takes for someone to roll up a 5th edition character, especially if you're not familiar with the game. So it's basically, you roll your stats 3d6, and if you want to make it even quicker, it's just right on down the line, 3d6 and all the way down, and boom. Look at your class. What do you want to be? Get your savings throws, magic weapons and armor and any of that stuff, and you're off to play immediately.
It truly is a fast system.
Yeah. If you're just looking, some people say, oh, it's good for beer and pretzels and just hanging out, and that's how I've actually mostly played this, usually one-shots and stuff like that. But you can play long-term campaigns with this game easily, as many have done. So you get your basic 6, strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, charisma. And here are the different bonuses and things and what your die roll result means. It's 3 to 18. It's a 3d6 to get your ability score.
Alignment. Now, you don't have the good or evil possibilities. This is classic fantasy, so you have law, neutrality, or chaos. Pick one and go.
That's right, and here's some languages, more awesome art. Here are the character classes, and what's great about these is that the character classes are on a 2-page spread. You're not going to go to the next page and see the cleric continued, where there's 5, 6, 7, 8 pages in 5th edition. Here's everything you need all the way up to level 14.
And the basic things like clerics being able to turn undead, are right there and spelled out for you.
Something that you modern day gamers may not know is that in the classic fantasy, demi-human races were actually the classes themselves. So a dwarf is a class, and an elf is a class.
And the elf is kind of like a fighter, magic user, archer type.
Yeah. And even has this great picture right here that shows that. Here's the fighter. So simple. If someone's never played, give them a fighter. There's more artwork here than there is rules to figure out. The halfling.
Magic user. Thief.
And then goes right into advancement. Awesome stuff. Easy. Level titles. Fun stuff that you can use to kind of give more depth, more feeling, I suppose, is the right thing to say. Wealth, domains, hirelings. Awesome splash art going across 2 pages.
All your equipment, basic equipment, not pages and pages of them.
That's right. Here's your basic equipment. The things that you're probably going to need as an adventurer.
Yeah, backpack, crowbar, rope, torches, water skin.
Something to keep in mind is that this is about dungeon crawling. And there is wilderness stuff, but it's like, it's kind of a different sort of mindset. XP and gold pieces are coupled together. Here's the different weapons, weapon combat stats,
vehicles and mounts, animals of burden, tack and harness, and also land vehicles.
water vessels. Awesome art. I'm just going to kind of flip through this. Here's the magic and how magic works. It's spell slots, just like old school. Teaches you how to reverse spells. Spells and deity alignment. Something that is not really done in 5th edition, which I totally missed.
Your spell books, magical research,
More awesome art. Gives you your spell lists.
cleric, magic user spells.
It's such a beautiful book. And will give me years and years of service. So here are the cleric spells, relatively small descriptions. You get what you need right when you need it. 2nd level spells, so on and so forth.
More awesome art.
These are the magic user spells. Slim, wonderful, again, concise, comparatively speaking, from the original BX and Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So not only that, this is a single book. I think it cost me like $40 or so. You get everything. We're about ready to get into the Game Master section. So about adventuring, how to organize your party, marching orders, etc. Has everything you need to be the Game Master, be a player, and get out and start playing. And you don't need to memorize all these rules, just like with any role-playing game. Encounters, encounter sequence, how to do it.
Yeah, surprise. If there's a surprise happening, you do that first. Encounter distance, initiative, actions, conclusion.
Evasion and pursuit, about chases and whatnot. More evocative art.
Combat.
Like, it's one spread. This is the spread, and then it has other combat issues. I mean, you don't have to have 12 pages telling you how to do things. Things are precise. Like right here, read this, Zoth.
1s and 20s. Unmodified attack rolls of 20, always hit. Unmodified attack rolls of 1, always miss.
Yeah, there's no reason to be pretentious, and that's what this book especially has taught me. Stop being pretentious, stop using flowery words, and just get to the point so that you can get to gaming. I don't have to look through a paragraph to find out what the rule is. If there's a rule that's simple and easy, it's right there.
And that's the way games should be written.
That's right, because we're talking about games. We're not writing a novel. We don't need to be pretentious. 5th edition.
Yeah, 5th edition.
So combat tables, there is Thaco or Thaco, depending on what part of the country you came from.
And that means 2-hit armor class 0.
But with this, they also have ascending armor class option, which is always here in the brackets.
So you don't have to do that negative stuff.
No, you don't have to do that wonky math, which I tend to stay away from anyways. Hired help, the specialist, how to basically make up the hirelings and the NPCs that you might use. Strongholds, yeah. So since you're out gathering gold and that's how you're going up in experience points, you're going to need something to spend that gold on. So strongholds and how to build them, how much shit costs, etc.
Monsters, my favorite. Talks about game statistics, their armor class.
Yep, right here.
General notes, alignment, their game statistics, everything that you need here, general notes, and then monster descriptions.
Something that I typically reference out of Old School Essentials in some of my past videos is the fact that dragons have, for instance, where's it at? The hit dice for a black dragon is 7, asterisk, asterisk, and that's talked about in here. But the average is 31 hit points.
31? That's it? So combat's not going to take forever.
No, you kind of come upon things and you fight them, and it's over in a matter of a few rounds. Now, dragons are the ones that are a bit more complex. They have these different descriptors and what things are doing, like what they're about. They are more powerful than normal, so their stat blocks and their explanation is longer, but still, it's not anywhere near what 5th edition is. For those of you that are looking for a simpler, to-the-point game, they just have a lot of fluff, and this is just brilliantly designed. Let's look at the gelatinous cube. The sort of description that it has, very short and to the point so that you as a game master can develop on it. I heard someone say, oh, it seems like lazy writing. It's not lazy. It's just when you're playing the game and you're like, oh crap, random encounter, it's a gelatinous cube. Flip, 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 get to the gelatinous cube, 10-foot cubes of transparent jelly. They move through dungeons, absorbing debris and living creatures they come across.
And you should build upon that as the dungeon master or game master to build upon that. So maybe the gelatinous cube smells funny or leaves a trail of ooze behind. You don't have to talk about that. You can assume that by reading this description.
That's right. And so it has the armor class, also ascending armor class if you're doing that right next to it. The hit die, I always take the average. One of the best things that anybody has done is putting in average damage. What the attacks have, how much damage, they're to hit armor class 0 or their ascending armor class. So in this case, I would use the +3. So roll a 20, +3. Their movement, and then their saves, death, weapon, paralyze, breath weapon, spell.
And then down below,
right here,
is everything that you need that are special abilities that are associated with this monster.
Yeah, quick, easy. It doesn't need to be a huge page if you want to get to gaming.
Oh, that's a great picture, isn't it?
Yes. So, and then we get into encounters. So dungeon encounter tables, wilderness encounter tables, and done by different types, etc. Hills, city, desert, forest, so on and so forth.
NPC encounters.
Yeah, and you can roll up random their adventurer class and level if they are a classed NPC.
And strongholds.
The ruler, patrols, garrison, what everything is about in regards to this stronghold.
And this is great information on how to run adventures, actually useful information that you will use.
Different adventure scenarios. So this is actually giving you real meat stuff that you can use in your game.
Yeah, so basic tropes that you have, banishing ancient evil,
clearing ruins,
contacting a lost civilization,
escaping from captivity,
exploring unknown territory,
performing a quest,
rescuing captives,
scouting an enemy outpost,
seeking a magical doorway,
visiting a sacred site. All about dungeon design.
Designing a wilderness, designing a base town.
Yeah, what's the hometown like? Where are your characters from? Bam. And notice it's like Gavin Norman is genius in this, and I think kind of changed how people approach design. And maybe he got it from somebody else. Getting everything on one page so that you're not flipping and flipping and flipping is a huge benefit.
Awarding experience points, treasure,
and the different treasures and treasure tables and gems and jewelry and magic items, blah, 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 all this wonderful stuff. Get this book. Just stop what you're doing now and go and get it. Swords, sentient swords, extraordinary powers, and then a whole section on author's notes and why he made certain decisions and what he thinks. He talks about ambiguities and omissions, and he talks about that and why he chose certain spells over others.
Because there are contradicting rules in the original Advanced Dungeons & Dragons and BX D&D.
That's right. And then we have indexes back here. So for quick reference throughout the book. This book is masterfully designed and presented and a wonderful addition to any library. And I highly, highly suggest that you go and play.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite games ever. And it takes the old classic D&D and makes it concise. It boils it down into its best form that it can possibly be.
That's right. So, yeah. What do you think, Zoth? You give it a thumbs up
Hell yeah, I do.
And so do I. Thumbs up from me. So go and get Old School Essentials, Classic Fantasy, and they also have Advanced Fantasy, which they have in 2 books, the Player's Tome and the Referee's Tome. And they are almost as big. So it expands on the game and separates race from class and all that. I'll probably be doing a review on these guys as well sometime this year.
All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.
All right, do this and do that and do this and do that. And watch this video.